Hello everyone, welcome to Gamed Out. My name is Richard, and if you're watching this, it means I'm back uploading. Hello, Happy New Year to everyone. I kind of left this channel with no videos for a while, but there we are. That is just the way it goes sometimes. If you listen to my latest episode, if you listen to my latest episode of Desert Island Games, linked in the description, you'll know exactly why and where I have been. But I am back and hopefully going to be releasing content at least weekly, if not 2 videos a week, for your viewing pleasure or your displeasure, whichever one you like. I don't know. Anyway, in today's video, we're going to be discussing... actually, let's explain exactly what's going on. This is Verified. Verified is my series where I take the wonderful Steam Deck that I've got in my hand here, my Steam Deck, and I play games on it that aren't technically classed as playable. They're classed as they're classed as verified, they're classed as playable or unsupported. And I see what they're like, how they play, my impressions of the game, and any kind of funny, quirky things that I've had to do any workarounds to make it play on the Steam Deck. That could be things like having to mess with some files to get it to work in offline mode. It could be as simple as playing with certain settings to get it running for as long as possible while running on the battery, and so on and so forth. I'm going to put that back on charge. We've had a heavy recording session this evening. So that's the idea of Verified. I started it last year, really enjoyed it, did about 3 videos, stopped, purely on the basis that life just got really, really busy. And yeah, as I said, check out the Desert Island Games podcast, and you'll kind of go into a little bit more detail all about that. And then what this feeds into is me playing the games that I'm verifying, talking about them on my podcast, and kind of giving you a rundown of everything that I'm experiencing in that game. Simple as that. That's kind of what I'm doing, and that's the joy of making content. And if you're wondering why I sit like this, because I do. Simple as that. This is my style. This is how I like it. It's how I'm going to do it. And hopefully, like I said, I can get a couple of videos out each week, and one being a verified video, and then a podcast every Tuesday if you are into your podcasts. So, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That's the version that I'm playing. Let's give you a little bit of background in all of this before we really dive into it. I bought it on sale, yes, before anybody says in the comments that you could have grabbed it for $3.99 a month, but I didn't want to pay the subscription. I've already got the subscription bundled in with the Xbox Game Pass, as you can see, got the Xbox down here. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to be reliant on EA subscription to play a game. Yeah, don't get me wrong, the subscription is great if you're looking to test a game or looking to see what if a game is worth your time and money, or if there's something like Jedi Fallen Order and you haven't played anything like that. And again, playing it via the subscription service isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I didn't want to. I wanted to buy this. I wanted to be able to have it in my Steam library, and I wanted to be able to play it offline. They're kind of my big things. The Steam Deck has really changed how I approach gaming. The same with the Nintendo Switch did, which mine is tucked away there. I really love being able to play games on the go, on the sofa, in bed, while my wife's driving. This kind of, just out and about. Being stuck on my PC is fine. If I'm playing something like a big budget AAA game, a competitive shooter that isn't available on the Steam Deck, because I want to use mouse and keyboard, or Destiny 2, we need you on the deck, or sim racing. You can't see it, but I've got a wheel here, and there is some sim racing content coming very, very shortly, or very, very soon, once I've got it all edited and everything else. Anyway, but that's the big thing, and I kind of didn't know the deal with the subscription model and going offline, going out and about. So I thought, you know what, I'll buy the game. I'll buy Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and I think it was like £12. It's Steam Winter Sale currently, and it's almost like, do you know what? Let's just go for it, buy it, and it's £12.49. I've just booted up Steam on the other monitor just to have a very quick look. $12.49 for the Legendary Edition. That's 3 games. And the other thing is, I've never played Mass Effect. I heard that there's massive controversy or, problems with the way the third game ended, but I've never played D3 or Andromeda. I've checked out Andromeda when all the memes and everything, all the rubbish was going around about it, but I've never played them. I've never sat and experienced the story myself. So this year I am making a bit more of a concerted effort to complete games. We've just recently wrapped up Portal 2. Check out the podcast if you want to know my thoughts and feelings on that. And I'll be doing episodic episodes regarding my Mass Effect playthrough. But it really did get me thinking because I wanted it to be played on handheld. So I checked the support, and the support on it is unsupported. For those who don't know, Valve has a 3-tier system, which is kind of what this show, as I said, is based on. Verified, you get the green tick, and this game works on Steam Deck. Everything is supported. Good to go. Lovely jubbly. And on Steam, they even have like a creators page for verified games. So you can buy purely verified games for the Steam Deck. And there's an array of games. I think there's over like 5,000 games now verified and playable. That's the next step down, is playable. Playable gives you basically there's going to be some functionality within the game. There might be a launcher, or some of the controls might be a little bit finicky. It's just there might be a little bit of touchy, like a bit of kind of like, I don't know how I would put it, a bit messing around to get it working, basically. Because what you have to remember, these things here, these are mini PCs. It's not like this thing. I don't know why I have to show people these, but it's not like these things. I've got Pokemon Scarlet in there and I haven't played it. It's not like this. This is a console, and games designed to play on a console. Same with the Xbox. You buy an Xbox game, and what you expect is it to work. Genuinely, 9 times out of 10, it works unless you're Pokemon Scarlet or the Pokemon game. This thing is a mini PC. This is what this is. They haven't branded it as a games console, even though it's got one of the best gaming libraries money can buy, the Steam library, plus other things that you can do with the Epic launcher. And I'm getting a little bit off task here, if you like. But this is a game, a PC games, and there's also, but there's no different configurations. That's the great thing. It's all one configuration, but still, it's technically games console running on Linux with the Proton layer on top, Steam OS, all that kind of good stuff. And Mass Effect becomes playable, which means it'll work on the Steam Deck. It will run. And I thought, actually, do you know what? Mass Effect Legendary Edition is... it's not playable. It's unsupported, and that's the thing you get when they're unsupported. That's what you get. So this says Steam Deck compatibility. Valve's testing indicates that the title is unsupported on Steam Deck. Some or all of this game's current does not function on the Steam Deck. Well, that's what this show is all about. This show is verified, is to see if these games run, and as you're probably seeing from the over footage of me playing Mass Effect, it runs. And it runs pretty well. I am really happy with the performance. But before we get into the impressions of it and everything else like that, there was something else that I wanted to find out. There was a bit of research that I wanted to do, as I alluded to in the beginning of the show today. I want to be able to play games offline. And now I know with any EA published game, you're going to have some problems, whether it be a loot box or whether it be some finicky launcher that launches in the background and requires online connectivity. I started doing some research around the internet that actually Mass Effect Legendary Edition requires you to be connected to the internet to play a single-player game that has no online functionality. Now, I hate this. I genuinely hate it. And I was on the fence about refunding the game because I genuinely don't like the fact that games require this. A single player game requires this. This thing doesn't require that. I can play Switch games, Fire Emblem Three Houses, whatever you pick that goes on the Switch doesn't require a permanently online connection. Unsure about the Xbox because the Xbox is used pretty much for Apex or Call of Duty. That's it. But if I'm buying a game, and I know there's this discussion about buying a license and buying the game, whatever. I want to be able to play the game when I want to decide, not when EA tells me that it's unable to buy or play. So I was really on the fence, and I spoke to some guys from some really good podcasts and play along podcasts and backlog. I've forgotten the full name of Dave's podcast now. Forgive me. Anyway, I was speaking to some friends about this, and actually I came to the kind of conclusion that maybe I should keep it. Maybe I should see if there's a workaround, and there is a workaround with this. And if it worked, it would stop me selling it. It would stop me refunding it, getting the money back, and going from there. And it worked. So in today's Verified, we're going to talk about Mass Effect. It's a long intro, and we're also going to discuss very briefly about how that workaround works, essentially. But I kind of just wanted to kind of give you a bit of a background to today's video, but also explain that I detest this in single-player games. Grand Theft Auto 5 is another game that I really get frustrated with it. And I think it's one of the reasons why you haven't seen that game on Switch, because we know it can run on old hardware like the PS3 and the Xbox 360. It launched originally on those consoles, but I genuinely believe it's because then they would have to make the game offline compatible because of the Switch being a handheld console. And it frustrates me. Games that involve an internet connection when they first boot, that's fine. Okay, I'm okay with that. I can kind of accept that. That's not a problem. But a permanent online connection for a single player game, something really wrong there. Something nasty, something that they want to keep track of. I don't know. I just think it's a little bit... Yeah. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts and dealings to that. So let me down in the description. Let me know down in the description, down below. Anyway, sentences, English, difficult. Talk about Mass Effect. Mass Effect on Steam Deck. Before I knew about this workaround, I already played the game on Steam Deck, and it runs absolutely fine. It says unsupported, and I think the only reason it's classed as unsupported is because of that internet or online internet issue. And it will install the EA app launcher. And that app launcher is disgusting. It's one of the worst launchers on the planet. Random tangent rant for a second. Why do we need launchers if you're putting your game on Steam? Like, if you're putting your game on Steam or or Epic, why then make us install another launcher to play your damn game? I don't want to be part of your ecosystem. Ubisoft are terrible for it. I mean, I love Ubisoft games, guilty pleasure of mine, but for God's sake, stop making me install that freaking Uplay launcher or Ubisoft Connect, whatever it's called. Ugh. Anyway, so once you get through all of that bollocks, you are basically away. And as I said, as I bought it at £12.49, I think it's like £50 new off sale. I will check that. It's 3 games, 3 sort of 40 plus games. Yeah, it's $49.99. But if you want to check it out, $3.99 if you don't have Game Pass, the EA Play subscription, check it out. It's fine. I think I'm in a small minority of people that haven't played this game, and that's the honest truth. I'm not just saying it for content. I'm not just saying it, oh, this will sound really good and everything. No. I haven't played this game. I haven't played any of them. I've played little bits of 2, and then I ain't got a clue what's going on. So I'm like... and then just restart it, or just didn't bother, is the best way to explain it. I just didn't bother with it. Just didn't do it, didn't bother. Thought, nah, screw it. And I've never got round to doing it. And I thought, do you know what? 2023 is probably the best time to crack on. So, yeah, that's where we are. It's on sale. I've never played it. It works on Steam Deck. It is unsupported. but it runs brilliantly. I have it locked to like 40 FPS normally. I don't know what kind of happened during the filming. You'll see at one point during this filming that I try and bring up the stats when it's connected to my capture card, and I just lose the stats. I think it's just a Steam Deck thing. The Steam Deck can be really weird from time to time, and I did an audio version of my thoughts and feelings after like 3 months. I'm going to do a full proper video review of my time with the Steam Deck soon. It was like one of those quirky bugs, but it was working. I was playing it from the Steam Deck connected to my PC, captured with my Xbox 360 controller. My Xbox One S controller. One of my favourite controllers, bar none. I know a lot of people have been rating the 8-bit Duo Ultimate, but I like this. We've got a couple in the house. Does the job perfectly. I'm hoping that they do something with the Stadia controller because I love the Stadia controller now that Stadia is dead. But I just hope that they reverse engineer that stuff because it's a waste. Honestly, it's a big e-waste. Anyway, so yeah, sound-wise, graphic-wise, everything is flawless. There doesn't seem to be any problems, and it does say in the blurb that it runs on Proton 7.05 or whatever the latest version of Proton is on the Steam Deck, and it does run. You have to remember the Steam Deck is a very capable tool. It's a very capable piece of kit. So, I am really enjoying this experience of Shepherd. I created my own version of Shepherd, and I've decided to be a bit of an arse is the best way to describe it. I'm going in with completely blind. Like, if I cock up, it's my mistake. This is going to be my experience. I'm going to go through all the games playing it as my experience, not someone else's. Not going to look on the internet and go, what is the most the optimum way to go through the game. That's not what I want to do. I want to make sure that I play this for me, for my sake, so I can understand the mistakes I made and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, functionality works absolutely fine. As I said, I usually using the controller, but all the Steam Deck functionality and the controls work fine. It's really comfortable in hand. I get a bit confused with the radial menus. What I mean by that is I keep forgetting to use powers. I can't remember which class I started with. I think it was an adept. But I keep forgetting to use the radial menus and different weapons. It has full controller support, and it's true. The control support straight out of the box, absolutely fine. I think from my understanding on the Legendary Edition, and this is the reason why I've gone this route, is they tweaked the first one. The first one wasn't very controller friendly. I may be wrong about that, but that's what I understand. It is looking dated now. So I've decided to go down the Legendary Edition version because it's just been tweaked for a better audience. Some of the other things I did, especially when it was connected, I cranked it up to its max FPS. As you'll see in some of the footage, it's running at 75. That's because my monitor is a 75 hertz monitor, and I've got it set to 75. And for some reason, I can't change it to 60. I don't know if that's a bug with my Steam Deck, or it's just a bug in general, or I need to change it on the monitor. I can't change it from 75. I can go 75 and then half of 75 and down, but nothing else. And as I said, unfortunately, I couldn't get any of the information to do with the battery or the graphics due to for some reason there was a bug, and I've restarted my Steam Deck since, but I haven't tried the game. And even when I was recording in handheld mode, and as I'm talking, hopefully I've dumped in some footage for you to watch of the game. I couldn't get it come up in handheld mode, so I don't know, and I haven't tested the game since restarting my Steam Deck. It was kind of a pain, really, because I wanted to see what I was getting. Some of the things that I also did do to get it to run comfortably is I allow tearing, whether that needs to be allowed or not. And when I'm playing handheld off the cable, I will actually thermal limit the processor to about 10 watts, and it runs fine. It'll run at 40 FPS, and it runs 40 FPS, no problem. Runs fine, looks great. Remember, this was back in the day of 30 FPS gaming. So 40 FPS seems about that sweet spot for the Steam Deck. And I run the FSR fully up, and it does make it look quite nice. At first, I was a bit like, is this actually doing anything? And then when I checked it again, it really is. The half rate shading is horrible. It makes Shepard look like he's walked into. He looks like he got pizza on his face. And I know a lot of people would love pizza on their face, but that wasn't sexy. Honestly, just wouldn't use the half rate shading from the Steam Deck. And I don't bother with the manual GP clock control. I find that the processor being limited is enough, and it stops it getting hot and stops the fans running stupidly, which is always nice. So they're the kind of things that I've done to make it run off the battery nice. I'm getting about 2.5 to 3 hours is what I'm getting. It was running off the battery at 75 FPS, 75 hertz, and it's all captured in 1280 by 720, just to make it sure it fits. Otherwise, you get letterboxing on capture cards. So I alluded to about having to get this on the offline mode, and I'm going to leave a Reddit link to a post that I followed, purely on the basis that I think it's better that you follow the original people that made the discovery that this works. And there are some things that I'm not going to explain where I got that part from. You'll find your way. If you want to do this with Mass Effect, follow the Reddit link. But in an essence, when you run Mass Effect for the first time, as I said, it'll install the EA app. And the EA app is god-awful. Origin, before it was even worse. But installing the EA app makes me miss Origin. So with the EA app, you can't plonk it into offline mode and run it in offline mode. It doesn't allow you to do that. It's just not something that you can do. It's not possible. It just boot loops. You get the Steam symbol, just round and round and round. Does nothing. You have to come out of the game. You try and go back in offline mode. Nothing at all. The EA app requires you to be online to play EA games. EA got an EA. So the next thing that you can do or the next thing that I did is as I said, did some digging and was pointed in the direction of this Reddit thread. And this Reddit thread basically, and this is the wonderful thing about this system, is because if this was always online on a console, you couldn't do this. But because you can do it on the Steam Deck, it's Linux-based, you can jump into its desktop mode. You got a bit more flexibility. So that's what you got to do. Jump into desktop mode and find your installed folder of Mass Effect in your Steam apps and so on. And it might be slightly different to where mine's installed. You'll see that I've got a very short clip of what I do or what I've changed, if you like. In there, you need to find the folder that's storing the EA app installer. And you need to download the Origin installer. Now, this is the bit that I'm not going to link. I got mine from the internet. Download the Origin installer. The reason why I'm not going to link it is I don't know if it's a shady thing to be doing. EA doesn't distribute this launcher anymore. It's not something, So I don't know. Like, it feels like a grey area, so we'll keep it as a grey area. Do this all on your Steam Deck via the window or whatever browser you've got on your Steam Deck. Download the Origin installer, grab the Origin installer and place it in the folder that's got the EA app installer. Back up your EA app installer in case it all goes south, and then what you want to do is rename the Origin installer EA app installer. Seems simple. All that part is done. So I'll go through that again. Make sure you head over to the folder that's got your Mass Effect installed on your Steam apps, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you find the folder that has the EA app installer. And then from there, replace it with the Origin installer, calling the Origin installer download, the executable file, the exe file, EA App Installer. Simple as that. Return to game modes and then delete the Proton files. Now, I didn't capture this, weirdly. But to do that, I'll kind of talk through it as we're here. You go to the cogs and you go to developer, delete Proton files. Nice and simple, nice and easy. As I said, I'll leave it the step-by-step down in the description from the Reddit post. And that will then basically remove its memory of its startup. You won't lose any saves or anything like that, but it's probably best to do this before you start, because I can't guarantee you won't lose saves. You shouldn't do, but at the same time, I can't guarantee it. So once you've done all that, delete the Proton files, press play on the game, and it will then install Origin. Make sure you're connected to the online, or make sure you're connected online while you're doing this. It'll ask you to input your password and everything, and away you go. Quit the game, put it in offline mode, and then boot it back up. It'll ask you to enter your passwords and your email address. I have saved these as, so I can log in automatically, because it will ask you, or the step-by-step says it will ask you for your password each single time. It hasn't for me yet, touch wood, but yeah, that seems to be working. The thing that I haven't been able to test, I haven't got Mass Effect installed on my PC, is cloud saves. If you're playing this could be completely and utterly locked to the Steam Deck, and that's where your save is. I've had a pop-up from Origin saying there's a conflict between my cloud save and my local save, obviously using the local save and only local save, so I don't quite know what's going on there, but I have subsequently booted the game back up and have seen that my local saves are there. But at this point in time, and if I get a chance, I can always edit the top comment to say if cloud saves works within Steam. But I don't know. I haven't seen since coming out of Mass Effect and going back in, I haven't seen the usual cloud sync comment like I get on all other games. So my suspicions is doing this will remove the ability to have some form of cloud save to play it on PC. There you go. And I think that might be one of the functions to make it verified on Steam Deck. So there we are. That is the first episode of the new year of Verified. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it's insightful to know if you've either just picked up Mass Effect or you were thinking about picking up Mass Effect in the sale and you're not sure, but you know, by the time this video goes out, obviously the sale will be finished. But at the same time, it might be something that you've got some money aside and you think, oh yeah, okay, I'll play it. My recommendation so far on what I've played is buy it if you're thinking about it. These are clearly great games and have stood the test of time. But to get it work on Steam Deck, there is a bit of, finessing it, just getting it kind of like where you need it to be. But that's why I do this show, to make sure we all know what is verified on Steam Deck. Till next time, guys, support the channel, all the YouTube things, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.